Ambitious women, entrepreneurs are beginning a movement to create a new way of business that focuses on collaboration and community. Together, we are shaping the way by using our intuition, our inner insight, and our creativity. Join us for inspiration, motivation, and transformation. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and this is the Wealthy Wednesday Show. A special thanks to Gordon Reary for creating the music. You can find him on Facebook under Gordon Reary. So now, let's get started. Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle. Today, I'm so incredibly excited. We have this incredible lady. Her name is Betsy Schwartz, and she is a pioneer and a visionary, and she has established the 10th Month Doula Services since 1994. This lady is a wealth of information for both entrepreneurs and for those in the birthing community. She is the first of her kind out of South Florida, and she has trained hundreds of postpartum doulas. She is a former CAPPA and DONA International Postpartum Doula Trainer, and she offers online classes at birthelearning.com. And her most recent accomplishment is the creation of Down the Canal, the game of birth. And today she's going to teach you how you can go down the canal on discovering how thoughts become things. So let's give a warm welcome to Betsy. Welcome to the Wealthy Wednesday Show, Betsy.
Thank you, Luci. It's great to be here.
Wow. You are so incredible. You have been training individuals for the doulas. You're a certified Reiki master. You're a visionary and a pioneer. And now you're really starting to help individuals understand that thoughts become things, and you also help individuals with the actual birthing process, the physical birthing process, by bringing these incredible beings, these incredible little babies into the world. Is that correct?
Yes, I am all about the education, and I feel that especially with birth, there's the cognitive aspect, which when my game comes into play. And then there's also that thoughts become things and what you bring into the birth, just as anything in life. So
wow,
that's where I'm at, getting that out to everybody.
Yeah, and that's really important as we are moving forward into the more divine, as I call it. We're starting to recognize when we start thinking things and saying things, all of a sudden, boom, it's like right there in front of us, good or bad.
Yes.
Or at least in my world, it's like that. It's like, boom. I'm like, oh, I just remember, I remember thinking that. We're not going to think that anymore. So what exactly do you mean by thoughts become things? And can you tell us what kind of proof do you have? I've mentioned a little bit about my circumstances, but what about you?
All right. So I firmly believe that thoughts become things, and it's taken me a while, and there are days I have to remind myself, as you said, that what we bring into a space, including our thoughts, is what we see. That's the energy that is going to come back to us. And I do my own experiments on myself when I catch myself in those moments, or like you said, oh yeah, I remember thinking about that, and oops, there it is, right? And good or bad, right? If
Yes.
we want to say good or bad. And for myself, because of who I am and where I'm at, it's the creation of my game that reminds me of that, just like that. Because that game was a thought in my head at one time, and I actually should pull it out. And now it's in a box, professionally manufactured. So it became real. It's a tangible item that was a thought.
Wow, so this isn't even an online game. This is like an actual tangible game.
Yes, it's a board game.
Oh.
So it was the creation process, and it was that, I don't know if it was actually my original thought If you speak to artists and musicians, I also write poetry. I don't do music, but it just comes somehow.
Yes.
It came through me, to me and through me.
Exactly. And as women entrepreneurs, and as we're moving forward, there's so many of us that are starting to acknowledge these ideas that they just came to us. It just came through us. And these businesses of really wanting to create more in the world, to give more in the world, to receive more in the world is becoming more and more prominent. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Giving and receiving is actually the same cycle.
Yes.
And yeah, that I firmly believe that.
Yeah. Could you tell us a little bit about what your angle is on giving and receiving, and how this all relates to thoughts become things?
Well, it's really in the receiving where the giving happens, and in the giving where the receiving happens. So I'm a giver. I've been a giver. I'm a nurturer, and that fills up my heart. And I've always had everything I need and I could want. Are there moments when I'm thinking, oh, there's more, and oh, I don't have enough. Oh, wait a minute. No, cancel, delete that thought. So I know that by my giving and what I'm doing and the mission I'm on here on this planet, which is about education, about birth, then I'm going to get all that I need. And it's not really about the getting, but I will get what I need. It's about me giving, sharing what I know, sharing my knowledge. I've been at my work for 25 years, an entrepreneur and in the birth world. And I give all the time, and it feels great.
Wow. Wow. And that does, it also has an energetic cycle, but you're also a mom, you're an entrepreneur. And what bits of information, what knowledge, you just mentioned you've been doing this for 25 years. So you've been an entrepreneur for 25 years. I'm not sure how long you've been a mom, but is there some kind of advice that you could give the women entrepreneurs, or even the mompreneurs that are listening right now, that can help them continue with their mission, or can help them move forward with your initiative to educating people through your mission?
Well, something that I learned recently, just in a different way, a very wise woman, I went to a wise woman retreat, and a very wise woman named Diane Bartlett, she calls herself Wapio, she said something which was, cultivate what occurs to you.
Ah.
And yeah, you think about that for a moment. So a lot of times, I know for myself, I'll speak for myself, I'll get a thought and I'll say, no, or later, but when I really pay attention, most of the time it's something I really want to act on if I don't tell myself no. I mean, even the game, for example, I couldn't help myself with that. I just kept going, but I had moments of, what am I doing? Like, what am I, nuts? So I think when we have things that occur to us that aren't always learned or read in a book, but just something comes to us, it's something to pay attention to. And there's so many women entrepreneurs I know, and there's so many women that have many more ideas to bring forth, to birth, to birth these ideas and bring them to the world. And why not? And I think what I would say is that you want to surround yourself with positive, good energy people that support your ideas. Mm-hmm. If you get some naysayers, you might want to not hang around with them. I know I had that in my experience with the game, and still do, from some. And no, attract those people that are going to support what you're up to, and go with that idea. It came to you for a reason, I believe.
Exactly. And I love the way, the notion that you put, cultivate the ideas that are coming to you. And when you instantaneously say no to a thought right away, you don't even give it time to even form. And even if in this moment, right now, right this second, let's say you're driving, well, you can't quite cultivate the idea right away if you're driving, but you could make a mental note, and when you stop at the stoplight or someplace safe, just saying,
Yeah,
don't want anybody in an accident, you can grab your phone and put a little, push the record button and record real quickly what that thought was, or keep an ideas journal for thoughts, and then allow yourself to cultivate them. It's like, well, these are my ideas, and eventually one of those ideas will pop out, and you'll be like, this is the right time.
Yes, I love that. Yeah, I love that. I was just thinking the same thing with having like a record or even a journal by the bed. In my office I have one. I journal every morning. I have a folder that says, I think, creations of my mind or something like that. And I'm this person that is always thinking of stuff that I could do, that I could create. And I landed on the game, and I've been focused on that. I do have ideas in the peripheral and what to do next. But I think once you're onto something, to stay focused and then putting all those pieces together to bring it forth.
Yes.
Because you can have that idea, you can have it created on paper, you can, and all of that. And it depends if it's a tangible product or a service. It doesn't matter. It's still having a plan and putting it into action as well.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's so very true. And really, you said something so key, is keep a journal by your bed. Keep a journal by wherever you're at. Keep a journal on your desk. I have like booklets all over my house. And I have a special journal that says ideas. Everything begins with an idea. And so I have these available to me at any given time. I keep paper in my car, and it helps me to just write down my ideas and then to be able to cultivate them later. And it helps me kind of tap into my creative powers by being able to understand that I can write these down. But you have certain techniques and certain methods that you use to tap into your creative powers. Could you tell us a little bit on how you do that, and how the women entrepreneurs who are listening to this, that are game changers, that are birthing their mission into this world, how can they tap into their creative powers?
Well, what I do is most mornings I have a routine, and that would be I get up early. I enjoy the silence of the morning. I journal just what I'm experiencing and how I'm feeling, and I just kind of let it flow. I just do a flow, maybe a few pages. Meditation for me, I know meditation is, meditate. How can you can't stop your thoughts. Well, no, you don't. But it's just that quiet inward time. And perhaps a thought will come, or an idea. Sometimes I have a day where I say, well, I'm not sure what I'm going to do today, or what I'm supposed to do, or what I feel like doing. So I may just take some quiet time, and then maybe something will come. Oh yeah, I forgot about, I got to call this person, or, oh, that's right, today's, Monday and something's going on that, whatever it is, I try to set a schedule, but I also like to flow. And the creative process happens for me when I'm in that flow and I'm not really working so hard or like pushing against the wall. Like if that does happen, I might say, you know what, I need a break. Instead of work harder, telling myself, work harder. And I'll do that too sometimes and say, wait, this isn't working. So I feel like it's knowing when to take the quiet time, when to act, when to reach out and when to kind of retreat and gather myself.
Mm-hmm.
And having those routines for me in the morning works really well. Because again, being my own self-experiment, when I don't do that in the morning, I can tell after a while that I'm off.
Absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I have my little morning routine where I do my meditation and my quiet time and my own stuff. And when I'm not doing that, when I'm rushing, going, and I'm pushing myself, my creativity shuts off, my ideals shut off, my business slows down. Even though I'm working harder, marketing harder, everything just kind of starts slowing down because I'm not taking time for me. Does that happen with you?
Oh, yes. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And I would say, especially for those, I mean, I'm a mom. My kids are grown in numbers anyway, 20 and 27. So they're on their own. They still obviously rely on me for certain things. But when you have little ones around and you're an entrepreneur, which I was in the day, that balance is so important, I think, always. But with little ones, they need us. They need us when they need us.
mm-hmm.
And that's okay. Whatever it is that you're working on can wait. It's still going to happen. There were moments when I had to really work hard to strike that balance. Or people remind me, like my husband,
Mm-hmm.
hello, can't always be working. So
Yes,
it's good to have those people around you that will remind you of that.
absolutely. And keeping the positive people around you to help motivate you and move you forward is so key for women entrepreneurs because we are community leaders or we're community hardwired or softwired, depending on how you look at it. So we need to have those positive interactions. We need to have the balance with our family, with our work, with our business. And you also hit bumps in the road, even though you're doing everything you can. But can you tell us a little bit what do you do when you hit the bumps in the road, when you're trying to balance the family and you're working hard and you're moving forward? So what kind of circumstances that appears to be in your way of going for what you want in life and in business? How do you balance that, or what do you do when you just kind of bump up against that?
A lot of positive self-talk for one. And whatever it is that's occurring, I do take a step back. I've been cultivating this whole practice of being the observer of myself and of my thoughts, and that thoughts become things, and not every thought is the truth.
Oh, yes.
If that makes sense. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if I'm working on something and I might say to myself, well, this isn't a great idea, or, what are you doing? To myself. Okay, wait a minute. Just, delete that, move forward. If something isn't working, just try something else. It doesn't mean, it's completely a done deal, or, I failed at whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, maybe I need to shift. A lot of times it's big signs from the universe and like a hit over the head almost before I might maybe do something else. I don't know. It happens. But then there's also this, right? Yeah. But there's also the signs of, yes, you're on the right path. Things like open up. So I think for me, it's knowing what has preceded whatever that is. So how did I kind of get in this swirly moment of, what am I doing? Or the moment of, wow, everything's lining up and, this one's getting back to me and this is going on. So I think it happens at the moment, but then if you look back what preceded it, you can probably figure out which way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that made any sense or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. So basically what you're saying, and I'll ad lib a little bit here, is when you hit a bump in the road, you check your thoughts. Okay, am I having thoughts that are telling me, who do I think you are? Not all thoughts are truth. Hoo-hoo. Ladies, that's a big one. Not all of your thoughts are true. That's a big, big one. And then, really determine, what do I need to do? Do I need to step back? Do I need to wait? If I'm not in the flow with things, if I'm pushing so hard, do I need to take a break? And taking a break doesn't mean you have to take off 2 weeks. It can mean I'm just going to stop for an hour and I'm just going to go to the park. I'm just going to go lean up against a tree, or I'm going to go take a long bath, or just take a break. And then you'll start getting these ideas again, and you'll know. You'll have this sense of knowing if you should move forward or not. And that's not to say that your sense of knowing may or may not be accompanied by fear. We can still be terrified and still move forward.
Right. Well, in fact, that's how we do it. We get to plow through the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what you said about the knowing, because we all have that knowing. It's all right here. And oftentimes we're looking everywhere else for it, especially Googling.
Oh, yeah.
Let's Google it. I know about the moms out there, but neither one of my kids were in any of the books. Just going to say that. So there's a time for that introspection and going to the knowing, versus reaching out and, researching, which of course gets to be done in certain instances, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's that knowing that we all have. That's
true. That's true. And I like the idea that where you said, researching is good, but it's not necessarily the go-to. And as women entrepreneurs, sometimes we'll get into the researchitis. Okay, so I made up that word. That's probably not a real word. But we have to research and research and research and research. But it's actually fear in disguise, hiding, trying to prop us. It's like, let's say we wanted to start a clothing shop. All of a sudden we're researching, how much are hangers? How much is it? I mean, before we actually even written down the vision, before we actually created the whole thing, we're like researching on little things that would be immaterial and stuff. And so that's a really good point that you made, Betsy, is, to take time and go through the knowing. So you are really prominent about your mission and your purpose to educate.
Yes.
And to improve birth outcomes in the United States and to improve the quality of life that we're bringing into this world. Can you tell us a little bit on how did you find your purpose? How did you know that was what you were going to do? And as you're evolving, how is that looking now?
So I didn't know for a long time. I went to college and I loved learning and I had a great time, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to work for peace. That was my thing. Still do in a way, but so it was, fast forward, my older son, who is now 27, right after he was born, well, before he was born, I thought, oh my God, what am I going to do with this thing when he comes out? Well, lo and behold, I really felt like I found home when I was caring for him. And I did have my mom come stay, who was actually my doula, but we didn't know what it was at the time. Whispering and doing great and awesome and just kind of giving me that support. And I just loved what I was doing. And then I answered an ad in a paper up in Boston to support new moms after birth, help with breastfeeding, give information. Oh, wow, I could get paid for that. This sounds really cool. So I went for it, and that was in 1991. And actually still friends with my original boss. I call her my mentor. Wow. She just put me up at a conference where I spoke up in Massachusetts. So it's been a journey of self-discovery and learning so much about women and birth and families. And yeah, it's been awesome. That's how I found it after I had my first son.
Wow. So you took something that you discovered that you actually love doing, even though you were afraid when you were, carrying the child inside of you, that you actually, I really love doing this. And then magically, and this is the way it happens as entrepreneurs, ladies, so listen up, magically you found an ad for doing the exact same thing that you're enjoying doing.
Yeah.
And then you learned through training through that person, and then you started your own business.
Correct. That's exactly what happened. And then I started training people. I trained my own staff, and then I became certified trainer with different organizations. And I did that just until recently with the postpartum doula training. I love teaching. I just, it's funny, when I was a little girl, I had a couple of dreams. One of them, I was going to be a teacher. Mm-hmm. And I have been a teacher of adults for 20-something years. And I love it. I love teaching.
Yeah.
So I missed that a little bit. I haven't been doing as much.
But you're teaching our audience right now.
Yes, I am. Right. It doesn't
So
always look like a classroom, right?
exactly, exactly. It doesn't always look like a classroom, and that's a part of our soul expressions. And when our soul expression has to do something, like yours is teaching, mine is teaching and educating. That's the whole goal of the Wealthy Wednesday show is to have expert guests and being able to teach them their their secrets. And you have even more of a saucier secret because you actually have a free gift that will help individuals or individuals who know individuals in regards to the birthing process. And could you tell us a little bit about what is this free gift and how can individuals get a hold of it?
Okay, great. Yes, so what I have is 25 questions from my game. So in the game, where my thought became a thing, if we go back to that, there are 240 questions to test your knowledge on birth. And it's not just for the pregnant couple. It can really be for anybody who wants to learn about the process. So I have a free download of 25 questions, samples from the game, and you can go to my website to get that at birthintheknow.com. And on the down the canal page, you'll find a way to get the download.
Wow. Well, and that's really good for entrepreneurs, but you can also look at these questions and translate them in how you're birthing your idea. Is that correct? And getting more information or not so much?
Well, I'd be willing to speak to anybody about that. They can contact me. But I guess it would go back to the whole thing about follow through with your thoughts and your ideas and keep going with it until you can't. Somebody said that. I think it was my brother said that to me. Keep going until you can't. So the questions I actually have for the giveaway are pertaining to birth from within the game. But I'm willing to speak to anybody who wants to talk to me any further about their ideas or questions. I'm always open to that.
Wow. Wow. And you actually are open to helping individuals if they're feeling a calling to learn more about what is a doula? What does doulas do?
Yes.
Or how can they utilize Reiki in their healing business? You're definitely the go-to person. Is that correct?
Yes, in fact, you just reminded me, I do have something else that I can offer to people that it is being offered to doulas, but it really isn't just for doulas, and it's a course that I call the Inside Journey to Success. So I have it geared towards doulas, but really it could be for anybody that's interested in taking a look within, because I believe that's truly how you become successful, by knowing.
Yes.
So I do have that on my online classroom, and that's free for anybody that wants to take it.
All right. And how would individuals get a hold of that?
So that also, they can go to the birth e-learning. It's on Teachable, and there's a link from Birth in the Know to my online learning. So they can get to the site through Birth in the Know, which is my main website.
Okay.
And once they go to the Teachable platform, they'll see the free success course. It's open to anybody.
Oh, fabulous. So go to birth, BIRTHNIN, know, KNOW.com, birthintheknow.com.
Correct.
And then they will be able to find this 25 questions under the Going Down the Canal.
Correct.
And then they'll be able to also find the success for the doulas, but you can also adapt that because it's really helping you get to know your deep self, which will in turn help you know exactly what your purpose and your mission is meant to bring into the world.
Yes.
Or at least give you some ideas of that, because you have to know yourself before you can really, really bring out what you're meant to bring out into this world.
Yes. You'll do some deep thinking and questions, and there's vision board. There's a little bit of everything in there. It's kind of fun. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow, that sounds like something I'll consider taking in a few months. Right now I'm in a deep dive 8-week program.
Nice.
But that sounds like that would complement what I'm doing right now. So, Betsy, this has been super phenomenal. You have given us tips on thoughts become things. You have given us tips on how you can start tapping in your creativity. You've given us tips on what do you do when you get stuck? Oof. You hit some roadblocks. And you've been able to give us not one, but 2 free gifts. Oh my gosh. So,
Yeah.
get a hold of her free gifts. So thank you, Betsy, for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show and for really, really bringing so much knowledge and wisdom to the women who are listening to the show. Is there anything else that you would like to leave our audience with before we wrap it up?
Just remember and know that we all have a gift. We all have gifts and purpose on this planet, and that doesn't exclude anybody. It includes everybody. So tap into it and share it with us because we're all waiting for it.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. So thank you for being on the Wealthy Wednesday show. This has been phenomenal. I'm so excited. I'm just definitely going to check out more and explore more on your site. I explored it a little bit, but obviously not enough. And I want to thank my audience. You are the reason why I have varied guests all across the board so that you will be able to tap into your creativity. You'll be able to really start moving your business forward and your personal life too, because ladies, you have to remember, balance your personal with your business. And for the entrepreneurs that are looking to become a mompreneur, please go to the site and make sure that you get the information that's going to help you move forward with ease and with grace. So until next time, abundant blessings.
See ya.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Wealthy Wednesday show. This is your host, Luci McMonagle, and I would love to keep in touch with you by giving you a very special gift that will help you move your business and your life forward. You can access this special gift I am giving to you at my website at lucimcmonagle.com. That's LUCIMCMONAGLE.com for keeping in touch with me and getting access to a gift that will help you move your business and life forward. Until next time, abundant blessings.